In this video, I'm going to tell you about 6 fantastic Sylvester Stallone movies that you should watch. Hey, it's me AP, and welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're going to discuss Sylvester Stallone movies, 6 fantastic Stallone movies. And I am a huge Stallone fan. I like him as an action star, as a writer. You know, we forget like Stallone is such a great action star and actor in general, but really, you know, he's such a great writer as well. He's wrote some great movies over the years. He's one of those talents that is great in both fields as an actor, as a writer, and I think he does get the credit, and it's due. The credit is worthy credit. You know, he is a great writer, a great performer, a great all-round, creative guy. And I really wanted to do this video today because I am just such a big Stallone fan. So it's going to be 6 fantastic Stallone movies today. So let's get to the list. So the first Stallone movie I want to discuss is Judge Dredd. And this is a movie that is based on the comic book, the graphic novels. And I've got to say, this one is... I've watched both of the Dredd movies, the more recent one with Carl Urban and the Stallone one. And I think probably because growing up watching this one, I do prefer it more. I think the action scenes in the new one are significantly better. But I think Stallone is just such a great... actor for that role as Judge Dredd. He matches that style. He's hardened. He's a tough guy. He's a very, very stoic in this movie, and his only quest is really to stop crime, really, and that's what it is. And Judge Dredd, in the Judge Dredd movie, you have loads of judges who are the law, the executioners. They make sure crime is not happening. Basically, they are the police force of the civilization, and basically Judge Dredd is one of the top judges, and basically he gets framed for a murder he didn't commit, and then basically he gets thrown into the wilderness. It's making his comeback into trying to prove his innocence and take on the villain in this story who framed him for this, and just to try and turn over the events that happened earlier in the movie. But again, I think it's just a good action movie, this one's Judge Dredd. I think it's just a fun one. There's lots of fun moments in this. You've got Rob Schneider in there as well as the sidekick besides Stallone in this. I like this movie. I think it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's well worth checking out. It's a fantastic Stallone movie. So the next movie I want to discuss is D-Tox. Now, in this movie, Stallone plays FBI agent Jake Malloy, and basically he's trying to find this massive serial killer who's just he's like the main FBI agent on this, and basically tons of serial killers. He's killed loads of people, this guy, and then he ends up killing Stallone's character's girlfriend in this movie at the start of the movie, and then it takes place where he has addictions to deal with after this after this horrific event in his life, his personal life. He decides he gets put into a rehab clinic for police officers, basically. And then, where the interesting part of the story takes place is in the rehab clinic. So there's a big snowstorm, and then all the power gets cut out, and then there starts turning up, these dead bodies start turning up, and then, more dead bodies start turning up, and it turns out the serial killer is amongst them in this rehab clinic. And then it's just a really fantastic story. I think it's kind of a bit of a hidden gem, really, of a Stallone movie, D-Tox, as well. It's one I've only watched a handful of times, but the handful of times I've watched it, I've enjoyed this movie. I think it's well worth the watch, and it's definitely one worth checking out. So the next movie I want to discuss is Cliffhanger. Now, in this movie, Stallone stars as a mountain ranger, and at the start of the movie, he's this guy. You can climb massive mountains. He's just an awesome mountain climber. There's a tragic accident at the start of this movie, and Michael Rooker also stars in this movie as his fellow mountain rescue guy. And at the start of the movie, there's a tragic accident, and someone loses their life, basically. And Stallone's character puts all of the sort of the guilt upon himself, and he takes himself away from being a mountain ranger at this place, goes away, and then we fast forward the story a bit longer in the story. We have John Lithgow's character, who plays the villain in this. Basically, there's a case full of money gets dropped in the mountains. They make a fake message to the mountain rescue team that they're stuck out there because they need people to help them to retrieve this case full of money that they robbed from it's counterfeit money. Basically, there's big action scenes in this throughout the money, but the gist of the story is that Stallone's character gets pulled back into becoming a mountain rescuer again to try and save these villains of the story, but we don't know the villains at first, and then it turns out the plot there where they take them hostage to try and force them to get this case full of money, which is like $100 million in there. I think it's a really good story. There's some great action scenes. I think also a standout in this is John Lithgow as the villain. He's such a great villain in this. He's really plays the part really well. But I think having him as this like really strong villain, and then you've got his opposite number of Stallone, who's playing this really good guy, and he's trying to make up for the tragic event that's happened at the start of the movie. I think it's a really good story, and it's got a really good ending. I like this movie. I like the setting of this movie. It's nice to see, Stallone in this action movie, but he's in the mountains, he's in the snow, he's climbing mountains. It's a very different Stallone movie. It was a really good Stallone movie. Cliffhanger is well worth checking out. Next on my list of fantastic Stallone movies is Rambo, and this is the fourth Rambo movie I want to talk about. I think it was called John Rambo in some places when it was released, but this is a movie, when it first came out, I was a bit unsure. I was like, Stallone is a lot older now. He's from the original Rambo movies. I mean, the first Rambo was always my favourite. So I was a bit skeptical going into this, like what we're going to expect is a different type of Rambo, and it really is, but I think it works really, really well. And you get this hardened, old, reclusive, hermit-like Rambo, John Rambo character in this fourth movie, and he gets pulled. He's walked away from that life of like guns and fighting. He doesn't want to do that anymore. He's just, doing boat trips and stuff like this for people now. He's happy with a chilled out life. He's retired, really, basically. He's retired from all the war. But like with all action stars, they always get pulled back into the battle. And this was what happens in this movie. He gets pulled in to save these bunch of people who are like aid workers trying to help people out there. And missionaries, I don't know what the exact term you call them as. But he ends up getting pulled back in. It's just him going all out against this like army of like just really bad people, and it's a really good story. I like it. It's so many deaths in this. I think when it came out, there was so much like in the news about the death rate in this movie, how many people Rambo kills in it, and it is extraordinary. But it's just, I think every death is worthy in this movie. The action scenes are really good. I think his character arc in this is really good as well. The ending, you see a bit of sort of like a happy ending to his story in this, and I really enjoyed this movie. The next movie I want to discuss is Escape to Victory. Now, this movie stars Stallone, Michael Caine, and many real-life footballers. We have got Bobby Moore in there, we've got Pele, among many, many more footballers who actually featured in this movie, because it is a football movie. So it's a movie set during World War II, and it's basically Stallone's character and Michael Caine's character and all the footballers. They're on a prisoner of war camp during World War II. They are prisoners on the camp, the German camp. And basically what happens throughout the story is these prisoners get brought in for a game against a bunch of Germans. So they arrange a proper game of football with a full stadium. And then basically throughout the story, they're planning their escape. They're going to try and escape while the match is going on, or halfway through the match, and the big plan is just to do a big Great Escape, and it's very similar to the Great Escape, this movie, and I think this is why I really enjoy the Escape to Victory movie, because it is, Great Escape is one of my favourite movies, and this is very similar, and just having that combination of football in there, you got Stallone in there, it's just a super movie, and I love the story, I love the ending, because there's anticipation at the end. It's like, Will they win the game of football? Will they escape? What's going to happen with these characters? You don't know. And then it's just such a really good ending. I really like it, and it's a really good movie, and it's a fantastic Stallone film as well. So the last fantastic Stallone movie I want to discuss is Rocky. I've chose this one because it's just a phenomenal movie, an absolutely phenomenal movie. He was the writer of this movie as well, and he starred in it as the main guy, Rocky Balboa. Oh, Adrian! That's my Rocky impression. That's it. It's getting good. I know it's a good impression. Thank you very much for the applause. But yeah, I love this movie. The underdog story of Apollo Creed booking this fight with this unknown fighter. This fighter who's just not really a successful guy. In Rocky, he's a southpaw. He's fighting in these sort of really dodgy venues, and then he gets pulled into this, stardom, basically, Rocky, because he's fighting the best heavyweight fighter in the world in Apollo Creed. They have a fantastic fight. I just love that story, the underdog story of him, training for this fight. And, we have the story arc of him and Adrian throughout the story as well, getting together, the love story as well. It's just a superb movie, and just seeing it, it's just one of those special movies that I think will just last forever, and I think it will always be seen as one of those long-lasting movies. And I think other ones in the franchise will as well. Not all of them, not all the Rocky movies will stand the test of time, but the first Rocky definitely will, in my opinion. I think it's just an all-out amazing film and a fantastic Stallone movie. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content as well, and let me know your picks. What are your favourite Sylvester Stallone movies? Did you like my choices today? Did you feel like these were fantastic movie picks? Let me know all your choices of Stallone movies, ladies and gents. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.